Hi, everyone, and welcome. I am your host, Erin Moody, on behalf of Orlando Insight Group. For each of our episodes, we are going to be diving into real conversations with technology leaders, innovators, and experts who are shaping the future of IT, data, and cybersecurity. Our goal is simple: to give you practical insights, real world strategies, and expert perspectives that you can use to drive smarter decisions in your business. Today, we are super excited to welcome Shanna Greathouse to the podcast. Shanna is the founder and CEO of Piggyback, a platform that helps neighbors team up to score better deals on home services. With a background in consulting, strategy, and data analytics, she is all about using technology and community to make home improvement easier and more affordable. She's based in Cleveland, and Shanna is known for her energy, her love of local startups, and her passion for helping people connect and build stronger neighborhoods. So thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with us today, Shanna.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much, Erin.
Absolutely. So we will jump right into it. So I mentioned you're the founder and CEO of Piggyback. Can you talk to us a little bit about what inspired you to create Piggyback and maybe a little bit about what it is?
Yeah, I can definitely dive into that. I've come from consulting, as you mentioned. And before that, I did project management, product management for quite a lot of years. And in 2020, I was in the logistics consulting space where we
Okay.
intersected with technology as well. And as you know, 2020, there was this massive crunch for supply chain. So it was an
Yep.
exciting time to be there. So we were creating these solutions that for Fortune 500 companies and startups that would, provide visibility for the supply chain, specifically around like trucking
Okay.
and last mile delivery. And this whole thing happened on the side, but no one was really looking at the home services market where there actually is quite a crunch as well.
Okay.
It's 50,000 contractor gap, which blows my mind for the US alone. And that is the root of why it sucks so much to find contractors.
Yeah.
You're chasing
Yeah.
them, you're ghosting them, you overpay, or
Yep.
it's a challenge. So it's really taking that logistics supply chain lens and applying it to home services. And in doing that, I found this really cool opportunity to build up communities and create a really powerful mission for a company as well. So that's where Piggyback was born. It started with just like common sense, and then it really became this thing that fulfilled so many needs that I think that I have, that a lot of people seek, which is purpose in their career. And I wasn't
Yes.
finding that, but I was able to build that, which was really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like 2020 was kind of that shift for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We started thinking, what else is out there? Like, what should I be doing with my life? I know it was for me. So, I've talked to a lot of people that it seems like, especially with those that have started business, like they started thinking about it then. So, I wonder if we'll see like a bit of a renaissance of
I think
sorts.
so.
But
I really think we will. Yeah.
yeah. But I love that. Yes, definitely. Anytime I know my husband and I, when we're trying to think about like a project around the house, it is nerve-wracking because it's hard to find not only people to do the work, but good, trustworthy people that are going to charge a good amount.
Yeah. It's
So
really
love,
vulnerable, right? It's a
yeah,
really vulnerable position to be put in. And we
it
don't
is.
practice
Yeah,
other
yeah,
things. Yeah.
yeah. And it's interesting because there's not necessarily the best way to go about finding it. Like there's Google searches and word of mouth, and I've had success and not success with both methods. So
Same,
I
same.
love
That
that
was a
you're
big
trying
part
to
of it for
change that.
me too. Same. I had a really bad contractor experience that was mostly the catalyst for it, where I started looking at the space
Um,
more.
okay, got
Um,
it.
yeah, we were very lucky that we scored our home um, right after the crash in '08, like maybe 4 years
Oh,
later.
nice.
But our house was,
Okay.
you couldn't even live in it. There was no functioning bathroom. It was
Oh,
ridiculous.
wow.
So we had to have a contractor to even before we could move in. And that one was a bad experience. And it was just for one bathroom, just so that we could, do it. We put it
Yeah.
on our credit card. Like that's how young and broke we were at the time. And then fast forward to, okay, we have to do like real things like the kitchen and the roof and the siding. Like we had stuff like rotting off the house. So like it was a big ordeal. And
Yeah.
we got the 3 bid. We went with the most expensive contractor who specialized in historical homes because our house is from the 40s and it's sandstone on cement block with plaster. So it's really hard to work with.
Okay.
And it was a nightmare. Like it ended with a stranger walking into my house 7 in the morning, unannounced, never had met. It was a subcontractor I'd never been introduced to, no warning, who barely spoke English. And it was just really frightening. So like I mentioned that because like you couldn't mitigate it because you couldn't communicate with him.
With the language barrier. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was just
Oh
really
man.
scary, and yeah, I don't want other people and that was by far, it was I think for 30 or 40% higher than the other bids, and it was that bad of an experience with stellar ratings, so you can do everything right and still have
And
a
still run into the
bad
issues. Yeah.
issue, yeah.
Yeah. That would be quite scary to have just someone walking into your house that you weren't expecting at 7
Yeah, it wasn't great, it wasn't ideal.
a.m.
Yeah,
Well, we love that you're helping us to hopefully avoid that situation happening in the future.
yeah,
So talk to me a little bit. One of the things that I read about your company when I was researching you is that Piggyback has an approach to social home improvement. So could you talk a little bit about what that means and how it's different from the more traditional home service platforms?
yeah, I think it's playing more so on our natural inclination. You mentioned word of mouth.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think most like, you probably have a couple of things sitting in the back of your mind that you'd like to get done for your house, and in theory,
Yeah.
some of those you could probably afford to do, right? They're
Right.
not like big
Right.
projects,
Yeah.
but there's this barrier of going through that process of vetting and then
Yep.
signing up to live through a remodel is its own animal that we don't
Setup.
see.
Yeah.
Um, but something that is like this innate thing to overcome the barrier is seeing the van in your neighbor's driveway. Like, how many times contractors say that they get disrupted while they're doing lawn care or a plumbing job or a masonry job, something that's more outside oriented, and a neighbor just comes over real quick and says, "Can you come by my house for a quote?" At
Yeah.
the end of it, it
Yeah.
happens all the time. So
Right.
it's taking that phenomenon and making it digital. So you can see
Mhm.
almost like that truck in the driveway coming and get those bids at the same time. The contractor gets a heads up
Okay.
while you get to feel really good about, you're supporting your neighbor. You guys can get group deals together because contractors are
Oh, neat.
avoiding 30% of time wasting by just putting
Right.
more jobs in an area. So it drives their profitability up, which allows them to then pass some savings onto the homeowners. So it's a win-win. And that's that social component. Think of it like social commerce, like Pinterest and that inspiration, but it's bringing
Hmm.
it from the digital to the real world.
Oh, that's such a cool idea. I love that. And are you across the US? Like, can everybody use it, or are you in certain regions right now?
So we're really focused in the Cleveland and Ohio area. We're expanding to Columbus and actually Alabama.
Oh,
And
very
then
cool.
we're targeting national natural disaster zones like LA. We want to work in Asheville and help them with that crunch. Because think about it, we're all
Yeah.
about building community, and the things that bring the community together and also highlight this huge shortage the most are whenever everyone's
Right.
fighting for the same resources after a tornado or a hurricane or fire.
Yeah.
So
I'm in Florida, so I totally understand.
yes, very much so. So for hurricanes too, you guys have the extra layer of the insurance piece of it that
Hmm.
we don't quite address or tackle right now, though we have some partners in our network that is their focus. So some roofing
Okay.
companies, etc. But the
Yeah.
really cool thing is we are US wide. You can download anywhere and you can literally grassroots this. So if you feel like your community
Okay.
really needs this, or you've talked about, hey, we need to coordinate sidewalk repair or tree removal or whatever it is, you can actually plug piggyback into what you already use. So like you can share our piggyback ride, which is what we call like a group deal.
Oh, that's cute.
We really lean in on the cutesy stuff.
Yeah.
um, you can post that and then share it to the groups that your neighbors are already in. So like we have a Facebook group for my neighborhood. Like I can
Yeah.
share piggyback rides directly in there. People can join and then do
Okay.
the group chat and coordinating right in there. So even if we're not in your area, like traditionally, like where we're focusing on it, you can still use our tool to help build up your neighborhood yourself.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, I think most subdivisions probably have a Facebook community group, so that's perfect. Yeah. Very cool. Um, so I wanted to jump in a little bit. One of the things that is on everybody's mind is AI. So,
Yeah.
um, so I know you use it with your company. Um, could you talk to us about how maybe AI has transformed your approach to business analytics, or how do you use it in your day-to-day life?
Yes. So day to day, like most people, I'm using OpenAI quite a lot to streamline email responses, that kind of thing. I've then automated through chat agents some things like social research, looking at
Okay.
TikTok trends, things like that. So that I don't have to do that because I don't enjoy it. So basically, the stuff I don't enjoy to do is things that I try to use AI as much as possible. But our app is actually AI on the back end for some of it too. It's not your LLM models, it's around clustering. So
Okay.
we use that as part of our core too. Otherwise, it would be something like, someone in the back end and an admin trying to find
Yeah.
different ways to group neighborhood demand. And so we use a clustering algorithm to do that. Um, I also use it for like my whole go-to-market plan.
Okay.
Typically, that would be a huge multi-week ordeal. I actually brought an intern to help streamline that, and it was ended up being a great learning exercise together on how to use AI because we were looking at key factors like growing cities, um,
Hmm.
tech adoption, which we were using Zillow as a proxy, so Zillow adoption per capita. So that's plugging into an API to do that. I was able to do all of that through ChatGPT through a series of very direct prompts to come out with a rollout strategy that made sense for the criteria we had that fit our product. And there's just a ton of other ways. I mean, blog posts, helping with the
Yep.
emails. Like there's still overhead associated with it, but it makes it so much more efficient and
Yeah.
faster. Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you said you used it for the things that you don't like to do. Because
Very
that
true.
is, yeah, we're living in such an interesting time, like just having worked, for, a decade and a half. And I wish I had something like this when I was starting out. So super envious. Like you mentioned, you have an intern, like they're getting to start it with their work world. So it's
That is
definitely
such an
helpful.
interesting advantage. Like even how kids do coding in middle school now and some
Right.
curriculums and like, man, I didn't learn that until post grad, how to do that. And it
Yeah.
was such a long learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely it's going to be interesting how it propels with younger generations growing up with it, more normalized.
Yeah, for sure. All right, very cool. So next I wanted to jump in to sustainability. So I know that seems to be a core value for Piggyback.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of ask you about that and how do you integrate sustainability into your business model?
Yeah, so that is very much an end-to-end focus. We are starting from just the foundation of becoming B Corp certified. So we've been on a path for about a year, which I mean we're 2 years old from idea.
Okay.
So we're a very young company, but we've prioritized that as our roadmap early on. Which part of that is it's around social responsibility and then ecological responsibility as well flows in there. And as
Mhm.
an AI company, there is a lot of focus on processing power and water consumption and data center demand. And just from a cost point of view, it's good for business, but also just from an ethical point of view, we only run our algorithm for clustering, for example, once a day. There's no
Okay.
need to do it more than that. You know what I mean?
Right.
In
Yeah.
theory, you could do
Yeah.
it all the time, but there's not a need to. So like even in our design, we're very conscious about that. We're
Okay.
also very conscious about readability and usability for users, and it's something we're still expanding on. I mean, we even tested it being colorblind. I know this doesn't have to do with sustainability, but
Oh
it
yeah,
just
no, that's
being a very
interesting.
like conscious brand.
Yeah.
But then the core of it is about emissions offsets. I mean, you're
Okay.
getting contractors earning more and driving less. That's like the mantra that we say: get your weekends back, earn more, drive less.
Yeah.
And it's 30% we're tackling. And I think construction is the second dirtiest industry in the world.
Makes
So when you
sense.
look at
Yeah.
emissions offsets, it's a big impact. Like one contractor, we calculated out in a typical suburb can offset the equivalent of planting 30 trees. So we're targeting
Wow.
3.2 million contractors in the US that are like these small
Okay.
ones. So that's like you're planting a Yosemite National Park every single year in
Yeah.
emissions offsets. It's insane. But it's like very pragmatic. Sustainability doesn't have to be this add-on thing. It can be a core part of your business that also makes it profitable.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because, like you said, you're pitching it to the contractors. You're saving time. You're making more money, but you're also helping the environment, but not even driving your car and using
Yeah.
gas for different jobs and quotes and things like that. Very cool. Um, I love it. Anything that we can do to help our Earth stay a habitable place for as long as possible, I'm all for. So I love that.
You want to keep having kids and like
Yes,
planning for a future.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. I have a 1.5-year-old, so I'd love for him to grow up in a beautiful Florida like I have now. I don't want smog and things like that. So the more companies we have like yours thinking about that is fantastic. So kudos to you for doing that. Yeah. Um, One of the other things that I read about you, which was interesting, I thought, is I saw that you are referred to as Forest City's hype queen. So,
It's a
I,
self-appointed title. But yeah.
yeah, yeah, I love it. So I wanted to ask you if you wanted to explain that a bit, and I know you engage with Cleveland's startup scene, so wanted
Mhm.
to just talk to you about kind of your efforts there and yeah, and talk to us. What is Forest City's hype queen? How do you
Well, when
how
you
did
think of
you earn that
Cleveland,
self-appointed
when you think
title?
of Cleveland, what do you think of? Like, just be transparent. You could even say the 30 Rock, like everyone's a model in Cleveland because of
Yeah, so
it could
Cleveland
be
for
whatever.
me, I think there was a show, the guy with like the glasses, what was his name? He was
Drew
like a
Carey
comedian.
show, The Price is
Yeah,
Right host.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
a staple.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
and he
think
was
about
like
that and
not
then
in
the
tech.
football
He
team.
was like a normal guy, right? Just like,
Yeah,
or we have
yeah.
Hot in Cleveland with Betty Davis, or not Betty White, not Betty Davis.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
those are some good reference points. It's surprising. It's surprising to people when I say like we have the second largest theater district in the country. One
Oh,
of
that
the
is surprising. I would have never
I
thought
think we're the
that.
third or fourth in the world.
Oh, very cool.
Um,
Cool.
our art museum is literally world class. We were the first art museum to make their entire database public and
Oh, wow.
searchable and indexed online. The CTO of
Okay.
this art museum is a fantastic woman. Um, number two, like top five healthcare systems in the world. Cleveland Clinic
Okay. In the world. Oh, wow.
is the pioneer. We're number two for cardiac, I believe, in the world. It might just be in the US, but I believe it's in the world. We also, in Ohio in general, we've got a massive footprint. I forget what the exact percentage is, but we have a huge footprint of Fortune 500 companies that operate out of Ohio. NASA Glenn Research Center, I actually interned there as an undergrad, is there. We're vying for the position of being the new NASA headquarters. Um,
Okay.
like the list goes on and on and on and on of things that are really interesting about Cleveland. Not to mention the Great Lakes is the natural freshwater supply for the world. Like
Right. That's
it is
important. Yes.
and we're one of the most climate resilient places in the world.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on and a lot of advantage, but people don't talk about it.
Right.
Recently, we had 3 different health tech companies close rounds focused on wound care and wound expansion. So there's a Schleppy, Auxilium Health, and one other that's doing a clinic based. We just are doing really, really cool stuff. And we've got so much going for us, not to mention the cost of living is phenomenal there.
Right.
But nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
At one point, we had the most millionaires in the entire United States in Cleveland during Rockefeller.
Really?
It was, I think, 6 of the top 10 had homes in Cleveland, Ohio.
Well,
I
it
could
makes
go on and
sense.
on and on. I love Cleveland. Yes, hype
Uh,
woman, hype woman. I love Cleveland, and the point is that we are world class, quite literally, and in the arts and technology and health tech, manufacturing. We've done data centers, oodles of them coming in, huge partnership with
right.
Intel. And we don't talk about it because we're Midwesterners and we're humble and we
Yeah.
we, we don't do that. So I that's part of what Ohio Startup Network is amplifying these voices of really amazing things happening in Cleveland,
Right.
and Ohio in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have honestly never guessed half of what you just told me about Cleveland. So I I definitely, I mean, it sounds awesome. And like you said, if you're naturally humble, which I think a lot of us are, you have to put that effort out to get the word out, and know that it's not like boastful or self, promotion. It's education and helping people know what's out there. And you mentioned affordability. That's huge. I'm in Florida. Our cost of living has
It
skyrocketed
really has. I feel for
in
you.
the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I live in the Jacksonville, Florida area, which is like Northeast. And I've born and raised here. And the way that the prices have changed over the last 5 years, like I couldn't afford to buy my house. Like there's no way.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, and what they're saying is the people that have lived here for a long time, they're priced out. So I think people are going to start to maybe have a little bit of migration. So knowing that there's a place like Cleveland that is cool, that has like the art scene and lots of places to work and things like that. Like getting that word out there, I think it's super important. Because if people are thinking about where to move, they're thinking of, probably like Austin, Texas, Charlotte, like those places that have done a lot of that PR for themselves. So I think definitely getting the word out there and talking about your city, it sounds amazing. So I
I
think
love it.
people
I love
would.
it. It's much better. I mean, we're approaching May, so that's when everyone
Okay.
falls in love with the city again. And then in the winter, which is like from December through like mid-March, we kind of are over it because we do have a lot of
Yeah.
gray, a lot of gray, a lot of rain, kind of Portlandy, but
Okay. Does
summer's
it
great.
snow pretty heavily up there or?
It's been subsiding, unfortunately, with climate change, but this past
Okay.
winter was unusually. It was like a throwback winter to what it used to be like. So
Through
yeah.
very interesting. Yeah, I have limited exposure to that area of the country. So I'd love to get out there and
The
check it
snow
out.
is the white fluffy stuff that comes down.
Yeah. Yeah, snow growing up in Florida, like it's been maybe a handful of times.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have my dad grew up in Wisconsin, so he's always like,
Oh,
I don't
I
have any
love
interest.
Wisconsin. I went there for my best friend got married there because she married a
Oh, very
Wisconsin. What
cool.
do you call yourselves? Wisconsinians? Wisconsinites?
He doesn't cheesehead is what
Cheesehead.
he
Okay, so
refers to.
she married
Yeah.
a cheesehead, and I went to Milwaukee for the first time, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, "This city is
Oh.
phenomenal. What a great
Yeah.
place."
Yeah, he's not too wild about it. He moved to Florida, you know, over I'm 40, so he was here before me. So he's been here for a long time. He's like, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care for shoveling the snow and things like that. He'd
That's
rather mow the
usually what
lawn.
the drawback is, but the summers you can't beat.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. Yeah, definitely keep hyping it up, keep sharing. It sounds amazing. So it needs some marketing.
It does.
Like
I mean, I think
grassroots
we're like the
marketing.
top 30 economies in the world too, by the way.
That's awesome.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy? Like, who would
that's
have
crazy. Never would have thought that.
guessed?
Uh, Awesome. All right. So last question. Obviously, you are an entrepreneur. You have a young startup, couple of years old. Some of our people watching today might be thinking, you know, what's next for me? Maybe they're working in a corporate role, but they have a cool idea like you had. Do you have any advice or words of wisdom you could talk to people who are maybe thinking about starting their own thing, and maybe something you've learned along the way that they
Yeah.
can avoid?
I think that lately, especially this week, mental health has come into the focus a lot for me. So, what I would say is if you're in a company that weighs on you and doesn't lift you up, and that is a clock in, clock out situation that drains you, and you step away from it feeling worse, it's never worth it. It's never worth the paycheck. You can figure out ways to make it work, to have an income, to chase something that you're passionate about. I know that you'll hear a lot of people say, test the waters first
Yeah.
and then dive in. And do that as long as you can. If you find yourself in a position where you are just struggling, then it's not worth the paycheck.
Yeah.
I think we've heard a lot that the quote go around that it's a drug, right? That we
Yeah.
become addicted to.
Yep.
And I've lost a couple of people this past week to mental health issues. So I'm just saying, like,
Gosh, I'm
take care of
sorry.
yourself. And I used to say when I was younger in my 20s that I would fill my cup with volunteering and just treat a job as a job. But it
Right.
never stays that way, especially well for if you're the kind of person that wants to build something, you're probably the same kind of person that pours everything into your job.
Right.
You can't not be that kind of person and have a successful business. Uh,
Right.
so if you're pouring everything into a cup that doesn't actually fill what you need, then there's not going to be anything left for yourself. Uh,
Right.
so that is my PSA. Treat yourself kindly. Um, Life is short. So,
Yes, that's such a great reminder. And sorry that that's
oh, thank
happening in the
you.
background for you. I think it's super important for people to assess that. And like you said, it's very difficult, I think, for most people to just turn it off and turn it on, like, on from 9 to 5 and then let it go. It's, it's tough. It's really hard to do that. So if you're in a toxic kind of environment, or even if it's just not right for you, I
Yeah.
think having the courage to
And I
make a
think
change.
if it's toxic to you, we get into this fear mode because I'm
Yeah.
speaking as someone who's been laid off 3 times. Within a 6 year
Mhm.
period, I was laid off 3 times for reshoring, for COVID, for 2023 was a bad time to be in consulting. Um,
Yeah.
and you think that your job security is tied to your performance. And we have that narrative ingrained in us. You work hard, you get a job. You work hard, you get into college. You work hard, then this happens.
Right.
It is not the same. That is not a true narrative. So when you're laid off
No.
or you meet someone who's laid off, a good amount of times it's not their fault and it wasn't a
Right.
performance reflection. It's that line on that P&L, that budget was slashed.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so there, you're never gonna love a job, but understand a job's never gonna love you back. A job is a narcissist.
Yes. That's so true. And I can just say my corporate time was in human resources. And unfortunately, I have been on the HR side of many, many, many restructurings and layoffs. And I can tell you from experience, it's not you.
Yeah.
99% of the time, it's just like you said, they're a business. They're trying to make the most profit and the
And in those
bottom line.
conversations, did you ever have that, but they work after hours? Did that really factor in that often in the decision?
Oh, no,
No.
never.
No.
No.
Don't do it,
Never,
guys.
never,
Don't do
never.
it unless
Yeah,
it's for your own company that you're building. Don't do that.
exactly. Yep, I love it. Yep. Focus on yourself first, make the decision that's right for you. And trust me, the business will find a way to sustain if you
Right.
leave
That's
them.
right.
Awesome. Well, we're coming up on time. So, Shanna, I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Great conversation. I
Nice.
loved hearing about piggy bank or piggyback. Sorry.
It's okay. It happens
Um,
all the time. It was one of those things where I was like, I didn't see that coming, but yeah.
Love it. Love it. I love your energy. If people are wanting to check out more about piggyback, what's the best place for them to go?
So our website is live, so piggyback.com. It's spelled efficiently, Pigybak, because it's an efficient solution. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn. I'm super annoying. I post pretty much every single day. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shanna. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed our conversation, we are doing LinkedIn Lives with experts like Shanna once a week. So if you want to catch our next one, make sure you follow our company page at Orlando Insight Group. And we're always trying to share helpful educational information. So definitely encourage you to join. And hopefully we will see you next week.
awesome. I'll definitely tune in. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.